Oh shit, that's hot. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Erica and this is Tea with E. On this channel, we're going to be discussing an array of topics from politics to pop culture. For this first video, however, I really want you guys to get to know me. Not so much like who I am and all that boring shit, but I definitely want you guys to know the inspiration for the channel and why I decided to start a YouTube in the first place. I'll give you guys a hint. It has to do with my raggedy ass anxiety. So let's get into this. I have had anxiety for as long as I can remember. I remember back in middle and high school, I kind of always was like a worrier, and it was like very incessant. Like it was like just like OD worrying about things that either already happened, things that I was afraid were gonna happen, things that honestly there was no plausible logic as to why that would even happen. But I always found a way to worry about these things. Obviously, when I was younger, like I wasn't exactly aware of why I was like that. I think I kind of chalked it up to like, oh, okay, well, like maybe this is just like a normal response to the way that I'm feeling. It honestly wasn't until I was in like college that I really talked to like a therapist and kind of like really delved into it. And that's when I learned that I had generalized anxiety disorder. In a nutshell, I stress about everything. I stress about what's happening. I stress about what hasn't happened. And a lot of it is super irrational. And it's like things that are so far-fetched that honestly, it's like, why would you even think of that? Like, how did your mind even conjure that up? My way of kind of coping with my anxiety as I got older was heavy drinking. I can drink anybody under the table, and I'm absolutely not proud to say that. But I mean, it was kind of part of my lifestyle. I live in Miami, so everybody parties. I would obviously drink a lot. And then on top of that, I work a lot. So I was always super, super busy, always out, always socializing with people. And then, you know, on weekends, like I'm drinking. And so I kind of never had time to really feel my anxiety or to really feel my emotion. Fortunately, the current health crisis hit. All of us were pretty much forced to work from home or stay at home. Florida kind of enacted the stay at home act pretty early on. And obviously everybody's lifestyle changed. For me, I wasn't working. I wasn't going to the office. I wasn't having meetings. I wasn't going to coffees. I wasn't doing anything. I was just home. And so every single day I would wake up and kind of have the same, you know, dreary routine, which was so opposite of what I was constantly doing on a regular basis. So about 2 or 3 days, I keep moving my hands. Like what is that? So about 2 or 3 days into the stay-at-home order, I started to get that feeling. And if you have anxiety, you already know what it is. It's like that gross feeling in your tummy. It kind of like works up to your neck. You feel it like really tight here. You feel nauseous. You feel uncomfortable. And like, you already know, like, all right, like something's kind of like happening, like whatever. So I was like, all right, like I don't get anxiety attacks like that anymore. Like I'm going to kind of just like let it ride. I'm not going to do anything. So one day I'm sitting on the couch with my girl. We're eating dinner, drinking a glass of wine. And I think we were watching like a scary movie or something like that, just to kind of really set the scene for you. I started bawling my eyes out. I mean, crying, like not even like cute little like like ugly. My girl looks at me and she's like, are you good? Like, are you good, sis? Like, it was so random, but I could not stop it. I was like hyperventilating. I was just crying. I had really no idea why I was crying. Like, my mind had kind of like come up with some irrational bullshit thoughts about nothing. I mean, honestly, nothing that had to do with anything that was going on in my life. It really didn't make any sense. So that night, I just kind of cried it out. We did some breathing exercises and I kind of went to sleep. The very next day, it happened again. Only this time I had kind of like was drinking wine throughout the day to like keep myself kind of calm. Something that I know a lot of us are doing right now is incessant drinking. I just kind of sort of like kept to myself. I was kind of like really just internalizing a lot of these emotions. And I started to feel nauseous. Like I was just gonna vomit. I had that like cold, sweaty feeling. I was like, it was just nasty. And I started crying. Finally, I was like, you know what? I can't do this. And I got on the phone with my therapist and I was like, look, like something's got to give. And really she was like, you know what? One, everybody's kind of going through something right now, but I think this is really the time for you to kind of figure out what is triggering your anxiety, how you can fix it, and how you can like get yourself out of these cycles. So kind of like on her recommendation, I decided to really get into some research and kind of learn more about anxiety and kind of like what I was feeling, what I've been feeling for like the last decade, but really get into it instead of just kind of like brushing it off and being like, you know what, whatever, I'm fine, like, or like distracting myself, like actually allowing myself to understand and to feel these things. Just like so we're clear, like on the kind of natural approaches to getting rid of anxiety, I'm not a proponent of prescription medications. It's not the right thing for me. But I did come up with a regimen that I think really, really works. And since then, I have not had an anxiety attack. When I have felt like sort of like these anxious feelings, I've been able to stop it right in its tracks. And what else have I done? Yeah. Okay, so I've been able to like stop my anxious feelings like right in their tracks. And now like I'm at like the most like motivated I think I've ever felt, and like the most just like clear-headed that I've ever felt. So I want to share that information with you guys and kind of tell you my tips and my tricks to, one, stop your anxiety before it happens, stop your anxiety while it's happening, and then also kind of like how to prevent it happening in general. So we'll get into that. So step one is probably the most important, but it's also probably the hardest to get to. I mean, honestly, if you've clicked on this video or you're watching it, you're either nosy as hell or you have already made it to this step. So step one is just knowing that you have anxiety. I'm telling you, just by knowing that that's what's happening, this is an anxiety attack, and being able to identify those moments, you've already probably gotten rid of 50% of it. Because the thing about anxiety is that it tries to tell you that all of the things that you're thinking and all of what's going through your head, like all of these things are real, right? Like it tries to tell you that what you're imagining or these thoughts, these unhealthy thoughts, is like I like to think of them. It tries to tell you that these unhealthy thoughts are factual, and that whatever thing that you're worrying about, which is probably complete and total bullshit, anxiety tries to tell you that those are real things, that these are real things to be worried about. These are real things to be afraid of. So just by knowing that you have anxiety and knowing what anxiety is and what it makes you feel like, you have like this opportunity to say, okay, like I've got this going on in my mind right now. Like I've got these thoughts. It's like keeps going. It's not stopping. No, boo. That's just my anxiety. Quit playing with me today. Like I'm trying to have a good day. And honestly, like I kid you not, like I have gotten rid of like 50% of my anxiety attacks just by like talking to myself and taking a deep breath and be like, it's just your anxiety. You're going to be okay. So step number 2 is simply to talk to somebody. Now, this can be a friend, this can be a partner, this can be a therapist, honestly, whatever you feel the most comfortable with and whatever you feel is like the easiest step for you to like take initially, because it can be very, very hard to open up with people about things that you feel make you seem crazy. Anxiety tells you that you're crazy. We all know this. So it's very, very hard to open up to people and talk about things that don't necessarily make sense. For me, when I had like my last anxiety attack, it had a lot to do with my feelings towards my relationship. They were completely unfounded. It made no sense at all. I don't know why I was feeling that way. But as soon as I was able to just talk to my girlfriend about those feelings and being like, hey, like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm having anxiety about X, Y, and Z. Soon as I was able to talk to her about it, she was like giggling. Like she was like, bruh, like, girl, we're fine. Like, you're fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, literally, like, it was almost funny. Like, when it came out of my mouth and I could actually hear, like, what it sounded like out loud, all of a sudden I was like, okay, buddy tripping. It's me. buddy. And even like, it was also great because it gave my partner an opportunity to actually be there for me. Like, it gives people, like, just by talking, I feel like you give your support system an opportunity to actually support you. And if you're like always like to yourself, which I understand, anxiety tells you to be alone. Anxiety tells you to isolate yourself. It tells you that you're not worthy. It tells you that you're not worthy of, you know, people loving you. It tells you that, you know, you're not. It tells you that, you know, you have to go at it alone. And so that's what you do, because that's exactly how you feel. You feel that isolation that's caused by your anxiety. And so you don't talk to anybody. You don't talk. You just let it like simmer and fester until you get sick and you have like physical symptoms and you can't go to sleep at night. You just let it fester. But by just talking to somebody, and I mean, talk to somebody you trust. Like, don't just be opening up to everybody because everybody ain't your friend. I'll be the first person to tell you they're not your friend. Oh, I'm sorry. But no, for real, like, talk to somebody that you trust and be able just to open up to them about how you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and let them also tell you that your thoughts are honestly, they're bullshit. Okay, I don't think I'm allowed to say that your thoughts are bullshit. I'm sure some of them are very valid. But for the most part, if you're having anxious thoughts, I am here to tell you, I will say it, it's bullshit. And it's nothing like what you have made it in your head. Okay, so for my third tip, it really has two parts. Oh, I'm disgusting. So my third tip really has two parts to it. The first side of it is going to be like the physical aspects, and then the next side of it is going to be like more on the emotional, metaphysical, I don't know if that's the right word, like the inner stuff. So self-care, taking care of yourself. And I know that a lot of people talk about this right now. It's kind of become like this popular thing within social media, self-care, 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 but you really do have to take care of yourself. So on the physical side, if you are a person with anxiety, you should not be drinking excessively. That's just the first thing. I can't believe I'm telling you guys to lay off the wine, but the vino is not your friend. Second thing, you shouldn't be smoking. I'm going to speak specifically to nicotine. I was like a really big vapor. I know, ooh, vaping, whatever. I was like a really big vapor. Is that how you say it? Vapor? That sounds so stupid. I was like really into vaping and things like that. So it had nicotine. I can't speak on marijuana just because for some people it really helps their anxiety. They feel great. For a lot of people, it makes them feel paranoid and worse. So I'm going to let that kind of like go on your own thing, but for sure not nicotine. And then the third thing is caffeine. Anything that kind of puts you in like a jolted, jittery phase, that is a catalyst for your anxiety. I happen to be in love with all three of those things. Like, I was also like very extreme with it. So like coffee for me in the morning was always like a double shot of espresso, and I would have 2 or 3 a day. Sometimes I'd drink a Red Bull, you know, love my caffeine. Vaping, I sounded like a train, like Thomas the Train. Like I would just be smoking all day. My office, like we all vaped in my office, so we all smoked all day there. I came home and I smoked. Whenever I was stressed, I would smoke. When I was happy, I was smoking. I smoked a lot. And drinking was probably the worst of my vices, just because I was one of those people, like I can drink a lot. I don't get very drunk. I don't get sloppy. So I was just drinking and drinking and drinking. Living where I live, I'll say that. We all drink a lot. So all of these three things were just something that were such a part of my life. And I didn't realize that every single one of them is like scientifically proven to make your anxiety worse. So when I was kind of going through this situation, kind of like right as this health crisis started, and like I had this anxiety attack that I hadn't had in a long time, like all of these things, I obviously clung to like my three vices, right? They made me feel like shit. Like vaping just made all the nausea worse. I would get drunk and I'd feel better while I was drunk, but then the next day I would just be hungover and at home, and I feel like all that anxiety would just be like built up in my core. I would drink coffee and I would just be jittery as shit. All those things just kind of made my anxiety way worse. Like it made my panic attack way longer. It just made it worse. So that was about a month ago. I have not drinking any alcohol since. I left my vape at my best friend's house, so I haven't touched it. And I just want to say I miss you. If you can hear me, I do miss you. And I stopped drinking coffee. That, obviously I'm going to get into later, like kind of how I got rid of my caffeine withdrawals. I'll give you guys a little hint. But all those things had to go. Not only that, I had to start working out. And like, I hate working out. Like, I'm not physical. Like, I am an artsy, cute, tandem dance sort of a gal. I don't like doing push-ups. I don't want to do any push-ups. Nope. I don't want to join your workout live video. I don't want to do none of that. But part of my anxiety was like getting myself into a routine, or not part of my anxiety. Part of getting myself better was getting myself into a routine that fit the premise of me having to be home. So I started to go outside. I started to kind of go for runs. I got roller skates and I started, going rollerblading and things like that. And honestly, being more physically active, I felt great. Like, I still feel great, because at the end of the day, if you're worried about, like, if you're running or you're outside at the park or you're like in fresh air, you physically cannot be worried about whatever your mind is trying to tell you to be worried about. Like, it's as simple as that. Honestly, like, I did like this band booty workout sort of a situation. My ass hurt so bad. What I'm worried about, only thing I'm worried about is how I'm gonna finish, because my ass hurts and my thighs is burning. So honestly, being physical and working out and things like that, that helps you so much. Like, it's unbelievable. And even if you're not a big person that likes to work out, there's so many like kind of like other ways of doing it. Walking outside is a physical activity. Rollerblading, skateboarding, longboarding, all those things, those are all physical activities, and they all help you to like clear your mind, and they give you endorphins. Like Legally Blonde said, they give you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy people do not kill their husbands or have extreme anxiety and to the point that they throw up. The other part of that, of course, is eating right. Like, I'm one of those people that, like, if I eat like shit, like, I feel like shit. So I have to stop saying shit. If I eat bad, I obviously feel bad. So I, try to eat my veggies. I try to take my vitamins. I try to drink a shit ton of water. I have to stop saying shit. I try to drink a lot of water. I try to do all of these things like every single day to like get the nutrients that I need, because a lot of like your micronutrients like magnesium and things like that, all of that is directly correlated to your mental health function, to how you feel, to how your emotions are. Are you happy? Are you sad? Think about it. When you eat like a really nasty cheeseburger and a bunch of fries and a milkshake, yeah, it tasted good going down, maybe, if it's like from a good spot, but you feel heavy and you feel gross. And so all of that resonates to your mental health. So that's the physical side of it. The inside, the metaphysical side, the inner side, like whatever you want to say it, is learning to actually love yourself. This could be true, could be false, whatever. I personally think that anxiety is stemmed a lot from self-worth. If you don't love yourself, and I mean truly love yourself, not like that bangs with you, I almost said that word. Not like, like you're cool, like you're cute, like whatever. I mean like really love yourself. Like a Leo loves a Leo. Like Kanye loves Kanye. Like you have to love yourself. Like you have to, because if you don't, that's how all of those emotions and all those feelings and all those thoughts, that's how they're able to manifest. Because if you are sitting here thinking about your future and you're like, I'm not going to start this YouTube channel because you know what, I'm going to fail anyways, and this is going to happen and this is going to break down. You would have to really think poorly of yourself to think that that's what's going to happen. Like, I'm not going to take this shot because I've already told myself that it ain't going to work out. Or, you know what, that bad decision I made in 4th grade, like, I'm just such a crappy person. Like, I should not be doing those things. And I'm just going to beat myself up. You don't love yourself. You don't love yourself. You're not nice to yourself. Like, let's call it what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. If you do either of those things, which is majority of what anxiety is, then there's some issues with your self-worth. Obviously, it's hard. That's not something that you can just like wake up one morning and you're like, yo, I love me today. Like, it doesn't happen. I've tried all that weird, like, I'm a boss ass bitch. And I'm like crying and shit. I've tried it. But I think the way to start loving yourself is to just start treating yourself better. You know, do things that make you feel good about yourself. Get your hair done. Well, we can't get our hair and nails done right now, ladies, but when we get back, y'all start doing that. Like, even sitting at home and things like that, put your makeup on if that's what makes you feel good. You know, watch even the stuff that you ingest. Watch movies and TV shows that make you feel good. Read books that make you feel good. Follow people that make you feel good. If you're always looking at a bunch of Instagram thoughts and their bodies are like something that you're like, oh my God, I wish I had that. I wish I had the abs, and I wish I had that, and I wish I had their bodies, and I wish I was shaped like that. Unfollow them. Unfollow them. Because why? It doesn't make you feel good about you. Follow people that make you feel good about you and who you are and what you're doing. And I swear, like, I'm still working on it. Like, I can't even sit here and say I've mastered it and I figured it out, because I think it's always a journey to loving yourself. But I honestly think that is the key to life. Wow, that was really profound. No, but that, I think, honestly is the key to getting over this whole thing and like being able to live a life that is like present and full, and it's not in your head, but it's out loud. Like, I think that is honestly the key to doing that. So my fourth tip is actually something that I just recently started doing. And it is join a community. So I don't mean you have to like go out and go to like meetings, you know, Anxiety Anonymous or anything like that. But just by like going to like different social media accounts, like I have a couple that I follow on like Instagram and like things like that. And it's literally just a community of people who post content about anxiety, how ridiculous it is, like how you're feeling, like checks up on you. And then it's like, if you look into those comments and you look at the people who are actually responding to that, like that content, you see there are so many people who feel exactly like you feel. And I think that in and of itself, like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not crazy. We're all collectively crazy. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it definitely like makes you feel like so much better to know that like you're not alone in this. Like, everybody's going through something. Everybody's got their own shit going on, and you don't have to feel like isolated by it. You can feel good. And the other thing is like a lot of these pages, they post like affirmations or like just kind of like daily quotes. And when I say like these quotes come right on time, like you can be sitting there feeling like, oh, like today's just a bad day and I'm having all these anxiety attacks and I'm having these like unhelpful thoughts and things like that. And you'll like open up your Instagram and there will be like the perfect post for the perfect moment. I also suggest like whoever you've chosen to be like that safe space for you, like that person that you talk to, get them to follow those accounts. Because like for me, my girlfriend, she sends me, you know, different memes throughout the day and like, you know, different kind of funnies, and like it'll just be perfect. Like I would be like, oh my God, like you don't even know how much I needed that, but you sent me something and it ended up being perfect. And now like you've lessened the validity of whatever I was feeling, whatever stress I had, whatever anxiety, nervousness, shame, whatever feeling that I was like kind of like trying to fester on right then and there. You just made it a joke. Now it's funny. And I don't even feel like that anymore. Number 5 is what I like to refer to as the holy grails, right? These are the kind of the things that are going to get you through your day. They kind of like work not just like in a metaphorical way, but they like kind of physically have some direct changes. And these are my daily supplements. So I'm going to start off with the holy grail, and that is my green tea. I don't know if you guys can see this, like whatever. So I obviously, like I told you guys before, I am a caffeine junkie. I need it all the time. I need it to stay awake. I needed to get my work done. I just need caffeine. So I was looking for replacements for caffeine that obviously wouldn't give me that jittery feeling, but would still kind of keep me on the ball, whatever. So also in a lot of like my research for anxiety, many people were talking about just how amazing green tea was for them, tea in general, how they were able to like calm their nerves and things like that, and all of like the healing properties. I personally drink 3 to 4 glasses of green tea per day. I get one as soon as I wake up in the morning. And then I'll do like 2 or 3 throughout the afternoon. And then I drink another glass, not even green tea, but like a nighttime tea. So I drink all in all about 4 or 5 glasses of tea total in a day. Green tea is like, it's bae. Like, she is the inspiration for this channel. She tastes good. Okay, so enough about her. She tastes, I love her. But on the real, she keeps you up, but then she also has compounds inside of her, like L-Theanine, which I'll get into a little bit later, that literally, like, it keeps you so calm. It keeps your body calm. It keeps your mind focused. And the type of energy that it gives you isn't that like, okay, I'm up, I'm crackhead ass up, like, I'm up. Like, if, you know, you don't feel like that, but you have this just like clean energy and your mind is just like clear and you just feel really, really good. And so I do that during the day, and then at nighttime I will do a sleepy tea. Right now I'm doing the Pukka organic. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that. Oh, okay. So I just tapped the box to try to get it to focus. Okay. That's embarrassing. So anyways, I drink this at nighttime. It has like lavender oil, some oatmeal. Oat flour. It's a dreamy bed of oat flour, lavender, and lime flour. Pukka Nighttime. Anyways, so this is really, really great because if you have anxiety, you know, like sometimes you'll have like really, really bad insomnia. I've had insomnia forever. So what can I say about this tea aside from the fact that it puts me right to sleep? So in conjunction to my nighttime tea, I will also kind of take these Rae sleep pills. Again, okay, I've got to do better with this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you could just like get that. Okay, I also take these like Rae sleep pills. I'll pop 2 of those, you know, and with my tea at nighttime, and honestly, I'm out like a light, and not just like asleep, which I think is like honestly great in and of itself, but like I don't have like crazy dreams. Like I'm not laying there for 2 hours like waiting for my mind to shut up. Like I'm like out, like I'm slobbering, it's gross, like I'm asleep, and I'm asleep for a long time. Like I'm not waking up. So if you've ever experienced insomnia, you know, like that is like, that's all we ever wanted. Like that's all we want to be wanting. That's all we be wanting. Is to go to sleep. Okay, so like I told you guys before, I'm not a proponent of prescription drugs. I've never wanted to be on like Xanax or Valium or anything like that. Just because, you know, that's my own personal preference. I'm a little bit afraid of like addiction and being, you know, kind of hooked on things that I can't get myself off of. So I don't know. I was never really into it. But sometimes, working out, eating right, drinking a cup of tea, doing your breathing exercises, reading your affirmations, like sometimes that shit just takes too long. It takes way too long for it to kind of work. And so you're kind of like in the middle of this really bad anxiety attack and you're like, yo, like I just need it to stop. Those moments, I have found something that works amazing in my opinion. Obviously I'm not a doctor, or a physician or anything like that. So I do not suggest that you like start taking things without like whatever, like talking to your physician or like however people do that or whatever I'm supposed to say at this part. And I'm obviously not telling you to stop taking whatever you are taking. But if you're looking for a healthy alternative, this is what I suggest. So I have 2 things. First one I'm going to talk about is ashwagandha. here we go again, trying to get this to show. There's like a glare. Okay. Is ashwagandha. So I have the maximum strength 1300 milligram one. One thing that I really, really like about ashwagandha is that it works really, really fast. So within like 5 to 10 minutes, you start to feel really good. And you just have this like overwhelming feeling of like, and then you're kind of back, like you're back to normal. You kind of like, it just like quickly snatches you out of that, like, I'm about to have an anxiety attack moment. And it does so without like making you super sleepy or like, like, you know, like groggy or like out of it. Like it keeps you stabilized. Like that's what it is. It's a mood stabilizer. So it just kind of like balances you back out. Second one that I suggest, I actually got this from Taylor Swift of all people, but whatever. It's L-Theanine, and I have like the 200, I gotta figure this out. I have the 200 milligram version. So L-Theanine is actually the amino acid that is found in green tea. Big. So it's like what gives you that like calming, like alert effect. So I know those things sound like two opposite things, but like how green tea feels is like you're awake, your mind is clear, like you can kind of focus on a lot of things, but you're not hyper. Like your body is like in a calm state, and that is because of the L-Theanine. I take this when I have shit to do. I'm gonna keep it a G. I take this whenever I have something to do, but you know, I may be like feeling a little anxious about it, like me doing this YouTube channel and doing this YouTube video. I'm putting myself out here like this. I pop a couple of these bad boys and I start to feel better, but I feel more alert. I have taken these together. I've taken them separately. Like honestly, if I, you know, feel like really good like that day, if I feel really good that day, like I won't take them at all. And that's kind of where I've been now. Like when I first was like kind of like going through this process, and obviously like giving up alcohol and smoking and all those things, it had its own challenges, which obviously kind of caused anxiety and things like that. So when I first started, I was taking these like every day, like really religiously, stacking them sometimes, just like give me that extra effect. But now I don't take them very often at all. Like maybe once or twice a week if it's, you know, something that I'm just really, really, really passionate about doing. But honestly, like if you're looking for like a quick fix, like that quick, like, all right, I need just like right now, like I just need to calm down. I'm having this bad anxiety attack. I need something that's just gonna, you know, put me at ease. So I am going to link the tea and the supplements in the description box below. I get it from Amazon and it's honestly super, super cheap. So I super suggest that you get them. I just said super like 15 times. So that means, you know, like I mean it. I should probably do that again, huh? Okay, so look, I get it. Anxiety sucks. But one thing that I can tell you is that it's super, super normal and it's super, super manageable. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like that. It feels like, oh my God, like I'm never going to be able to overcome this. Like, why can't I just be normal? Why do I feel like this? But anxiety is normal. And there's so many people who go through it all the time. And obviously, like some people have mild cases, some people have very severe cases. You know, some people go through it and don't even know they're going through it. But it's something that you can learn to live with as long as you take like the proper steps and the proper precautions to be able to manage it. For me, that was giving up things. I had to give up drinking. I had to give up smoking. I had to give up, you know, caffeine, who I miss very, very much. But I had to give those things up because I cared a lot about my mental health and I cared about, you know, feeling good and being present for the people that I love. That is something that I think we should all strive to be. I think we should all strive to be here, you know, and I think when you have anxiety or depression and all these things, we tend to be physically here maybe, but mentally and emotionally and all these things, we're somewhere else. And so for me, part of like figuring this whole thing out was so that I could be a better girlfriend. I could be a better friend, a better daughter. Like I could be just a better person in general. And I think that's something that we should all strive for because, you know, life is short. And like, if we haven't learned anything about this like health thing and all of like what's going on, it's that very thing. Like life is so short to be anything but present to be anything but happy, to be anything but like chasing dreams, to be anything but like getting in your bag. Like life is just too short. And on top of that, you have to learn to deal with life as it comes. Like you cannot read the future. I cannot read the future. Nobody can. And honestly, you have to let go of the past. It's already happened. There's nothing you can do about it. And I guarantee you, you're the only person that's worried about it. So all of these things are things you have to learn. Obviously, you have to find your own kind of routine, your own daily way of like kind of dealing with your anxiety. But it's important that you just try. Like it's important that you just do it. I know anxiety can be scary. Dealing with anxiety can be scary. Just the thought of even having to think about your anxiety can be scary. But once you kind of start to do it and you start to really look at it for what it is, all of a sudden it stops having a lot of power over you. And again, like I said before, and I'm going to say this again and again and again, learn to love yourself. You cannot, and I mean this like wholeheartedly, like you cannot be a better person. You cannot have good mental health or great mental health. You can't be happy if you don't learn to love the person that is looking at you in the mirror every day. And I know that's a lot easier said than done. I know that you've probably gone through things in your life that make you feel like you're worthless or like, you know, something's wrong with you. I get it. I've gone through those same exact things, but I can tell you right here and right now, it's not true. You are a beautiful person. You are a person who is deserving of love. You are deserving of more than anything though, you are deserving of your own love. Not anybody else's acceptance, not anybody else's, you know, visual of how you should look or how you should dress or, you know, the things that you should be interested in, but you, how you feel about yourself every single day, the type of person that you are every single day. And look, you're going to make mistakes. We are human. We all make mistakes. But the thing about it is making mistakes and allowing yourself to learn the lessons that you are meant to learn in the first place and moving on. You know, shit happens. You're going to do things that you're going to regret or whatever. But as long as you are able to learn from that mistake and be a better person moving forward, that's all anybody can ever expect of you. And that's all you should ever expect from yourself. So I hope this video was helpful, and I'm also super interested in knowing how you guys are currently working to manage your anxiety. So please feel free to drop any comments, suggestions, or even questions in the comment section below. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel where we are going to be discussing important topics like these every week. Till next time, everybody, and please take care of yourself. Bye. Sounded so weird.